Hey there, welcome to Live by Design, a place where I hope you will find content that is informative, inspiring, and insightful. I'm your host, Muadi. I'm a life strategist and a transformational speaker, and today is Monday, December 1st, 2014. Today is the first day of the last month of the year, and I gotta say I'm really surprised by just how quickly this year has gone by. Around this time last year, I was giving workshops where I was challenging the participants as well as myself to see how far we could push ourselves this year towards our goal, towards our vision. And I'm really proud of everything that I've accomplished this year. There are still some things left undone that may continue to be undone by the time that ball drops in December, but I'm still pushing. I'm not taking a break. I'm not going on that month-long siesta that a lot of folks tend to do at this time of the year, and hopefully you're not either. If you haven't had a chance to knock out all of your goals, you still have time, right? So let's all make a commitment that we're going to finish this year strong. Now, today, before we get into our topic, I want to share some exciting announcements with you. First and foremost, I am so thrilled beyond words to let you know that Put Your Shoes On, a step-by-step guide for young people entering the workforce, is now out in print, and it's available for purchase. Now, this is the second edition of this book. It first came out in 2007, and it's been updated. In the book, I share with young people, anyone who is looking for work for the first time, or maybe has been out of the job market for a long time, just some basic information to help them along their path. So I cover topics such as how to write a resume, what goes on a resume, what the format of a resume should look like, what you should and should not wear to the interview so that you don't look like you're going to the club. The importance of monitoring your social media profiles, and a whole lot of other information. If you work with young people, particularly in any kind of job readiness training program or an employment training program, this is a perfect supplement to any curriculum that you may be offering. It's also a workbook, right? So it includes exercises that any young person can do to help them narrow their job search, really identify their strengths, and really give them some focus and some real direction. It's interesting because my 6-year-old niece, for some reason, has taken it upon herself to start reading the book, and she has been doing the exercises, and it's been a really interesting process. But you don't have to be 6 years old. We start them young, but it's really for older young people who need that little extra push. So if you're interested in purchasing a book for a young person that you know or some students that you may have, please feel free to email me and I will get you the information as quickly as possible. My second announcement is that I have recently joined the faculty of Temple University's International Nonprofit Management Training Program. It is an online program that they are creating or rebranding in collaboration with their campus in Japan, and I have been selected to be part of the faculty. So I will be teaching my own course, as well as being a guest lecturer on topics such as diversity in the nonprofit field, fundraising and development, financial management, and a whole host of other issues. So I'm very excited about that. Also about the prospect of being seen in Japan. That's kind of a little intimidating, but I'm excited about that. So it's really something that I'm looking forward to. My first class starts in February, so if you're interested, maybe you can enroll in their program. I'll have information about that on my website as well. My third announcement, probably the one of which I'm most excited right now anyway, is that my Women's Worth tour starts this week. This Saturday, I will be in New York City bringing my workshop to that city for the first time. It's Women's Worth, Discover Your Purpose, Unleash Your Power. The intention of the workshops is to work with women ages 18 and above to lay a foundation so that we can make 2015 our best year ever. So I will be offering that workshop in 3 cities this month: New York City, New York, starting on Saturday, in Prince George's County, Maryland, at the Bikram Yoga Riverdale Park Studio on December 14th. And then finally, we ended up on the 27th of December at the Origination Cultural Arts Center in Boston. If you are looking for information on how to register for the workshop, you can come to my website, muadidibingaunlimited.com, and you can sign up right then and there. I have to be clear, though, that I have selected very small, intimate venues for this workshop because I want to have an intimate experience with the women who have registered. So there's limited space available. So if you're interested in coming and you have any questions, feel free to email me. Otherwise, just go register today. Don't procrastinate, because then you'll be mad because you missed it. And some of your friends might come and they'll be like, oh my gosh, it was off the chain. And you'll have to wait till this time next year. In the meantime, all your friends will be having a fabulous 2015. So don't get left out. All right, come on and register, and we'll have a good time together. We're going to take a little break, and when we come back from our little pause, we're going to get into our subject, which is rethinking your ride or die philosophy. Sounds intriguing, doesn't it? Okay, so don't go too far. We'll be back in about 5 seconds. So put us on pause, get a drink, and we'll see you shortly. Okay. Welcome back. Today we're talking about this whole principle of ride or die. Now, ride or die, for those of you who are not familiar with this vernacular, is an expression that we sometimes use to describe our friends, sometimes our family members, who we have their back, they have our back, and no matter what they do, no matter what they say, we are always going to have their back, be with them, and support them no matter what. And you know, for the most part, I appreciate the sentiment behind that. This notion that when you are friends with somebody, when you're in a relationship with somebody, you support them through the ups and downs and through the challenges of their lives, and we don't just abandon people in their time of trouble. So to a certain extent, that ride, maybe the ride part, it works. And I support it because, you know, I'm always talking about watch your crew and the importance of having people in your life who will have your back and support you in what it is that you are trying to do. The challenge, however, with this whole ride or die notion is that sometimes we have people in our lives who maybe they're riding with us, right, but shouldn't be. And they're supporting us in behaviors that they should not be supported. I know it sounds a little crazy, but I'm going to give you an example to help you understand what it is that I'm talking about. So last October, this past October, I was in Boston, and I became aware of a betrayal that occurred against somebody in my family. There was somebody outside of our family who we considered to be a friend of the family who committed an act of betrayal towards one of my siblings. Now, if you know me, you know I'm a work in progress. You know that I am someone who is recovering from living a life where I was really driven by my emotions, very easily angered. I had a really mean streak. I'm trying to find a diplomatic way to say it, but there isn't one. I was mean. And it's something that I really worked on, you know, bringing my anger into perspective and just finding that inner peace that allows me to be externally peaceful more often than I was in my past. So these days, it takes a lot to annoy me. I don't get annoyed very often. And when I get annoyed, I don't stay in that state of angst for very long, particularly as compared to back in the day. Back in the day, if my food was late, if my food was cold, if somebody bumped me in the line or something, I was always ready to go off. And if you came for somebody in my family, that was it. It was a wrap. I was coming for you, period, bottom line, the end. That was it. And so I've really worked on that over these last, 10 years since I've started doing my own internal practice. And I've gotten really, really good at it. But we don't really know who we are until we're challenged. So we don't really know who we are, how much we've grown, until we're in a situation where we have an opportunity to experience a trigger and see how we respond to that trigger. So we're in October. I found out that someone betrayed one of my sisters, and I'm flipping out in my head. And, I got very, very, very angry. And my alter ego, I refer to her as Pachella. Some of you may have heard of her. Some of you may have met her. Anyway, I found out that someone had done something to betray one of my sisters, and all of a sudden, just like my whole back went up, and I was ready because I was so angry that this person would betray my sister in what I thought to be just the most profound way. And when I became aware of the betrayal, I just happened to be in the presence of one of my good friends. This is where the ride or die piece comes in. So it sounds a little crazy, but follow me if you can. So we're sitting, having a conversation, having a meal together. I become aware of this magnificent, extraordinary betrayal, and I'm ready to start flipping tables, because if you know me, I will take it for myself, but if you come from my family, that's a whole nother conversation. And so I'm finding out more and more the details of this particular betrayal. And Bacella, she was asleep. That's my alter ego. And all of a sudden, she was just like I could feel her waking up. I could feel her rising. I could feel her taking off her earrings and doing her stretches, because she's like, it's been a long time, but Muadi needs me. And Bacella was about to come up and just really start flipping over tables. Fortunately for me, fortunately for the people around me, and fortunately for the person who committed that act of betrayal, my good friend stopped me through conversation and began to ask me what I call empowering questions. Muadi, do you think this person is really going to be able to receive what it is that you were trying to tell him? Muadi, do you think this person is worth you stepping out of who you are, saying all the right things? Because this person knows me. And rather than co-signing off of my crazy behavior, and rather than encouraging me to really, go after this particular person, this person, my friend, this person who knows who I'm trying and striving to be, this person with whom I have had conversation after conversation about life and love and purpose and vision, this person put his hand on my shoulder and said, not you, not now, not here. That, to me, is true friendship. Back in the day, I had several people in my life, they're not in my life anymore, but several people in my life who, rather than putting their hand on my shoulder, would have been pushing me in my back. Go forward, get him, get him. How dare that person do such and such to you? Doesn't he know who you are after all you've done for him, after all she's done? And they sort of feed that ego, they feed that Bacella persona, and they would have pushed me to go out there and just go wild on this person. But because I was in the presence of someone who knows who I am and who refused to co-sign off of my momentary lapse in sanity, I was spared the interaction that would have taken me off my perch. I was spared having to go through this whole emotional, upheaval and uprising, and then the guilt that comes with it afterwards when I recognize that I allowed someone to push me off of my perch and pull me down into the gutter where his behavior was lurking, right? So when I think about this whole idea of ride or die, and I was talking to one of my friends, Jay, about this a couple of weeks ago, rather than having people in my life who will co-sign off of my crazy, or as my other friend Sabrina calls them, coat holders. You're getting ready to get into a tussle. I'll hold your coat, I'll hold your bag, and they encourage you and they push you. I now surround myself. I now have people in my life who recognize who it is that I am, right? Who it is that I'm trying to be. And they encourage me to stand within that. They encourage me to stand with the vision of my higher self. And they do not allow me, at least not in their presence, to behave in a way that in any way is not going to be aligned with that divine purpose that I have set for myself, with that divine purpose that I know I was sent here to fulfill. And so for me, it's important to have those people in my life because I'm not perfect, right? I'm not Mother Teresa. I still get triggered. Got triggered a couple of weeks ago. That's a conversation for another time. But even in that situation where another person triggered me, I had people right there in my life, in that space, who pulled me back. The work that we talk about here, transformational work, the work about moving into enlightenment, it's not about striving for perfection. I know that I am not perfect. I don't profess to be perfect. I'm not striving to become perfect. But I am a work in progress. And it's important for me to have people in my life, right, who are going to hold me accountable to what I said that I wanted in my life. who are going to hold me accountable for the person that I said I am striving to become, and who are going to demand, they are going to demand, at least in their presence, that I attain that high standard or sustain that high standard that I'm striving for. Those are friends. Those are real friends. Rather than have friends who are my ride or dies, as my friend Jay says, I want to have friends who are going to ride and rise. And there is a big difference between the two. And the purpose of this conversation for you is quite simple. If you set a goal for yourself, you want to lose weight, you want to start being more healthy, whatever that goal is. Or if you, like me, have set a goal that you want to be a more forgiving person. You want to be a more loving person. You want to walk in the light, and with that light, 90% of the time, 95% of the time, and not allow yourself to be reacting to the emotions that used to sort of drive you. It's critical that you have people in your life who will hold you accountable. It is critical that you have people in your life who won't co-sign off of your crazy, but instead will tap you on the shoulder and pull you back, hold up that mirror and remind you of what it is that you said you wanted to do, and who will remind you of who you said you wanted to be. I don't surround myself with ride or dies. I don't surround myself with people who feed off of my ego's ramblings and rages. I don't do that. I don't surround myself with people who get a kick or who are entertained or somehow amused when I fall off the wagon and start going off on people, because that's who I used to roll with in the past. And riding with those kind of people kept me from really reaching my glory, reaching my potential, reaching that person, becoming that person who I want to be. Yes, I'm responsible for my behavior, but I'm also responsible for crafting a life. I'm also responsible for attracting people. I'm also responsible for dismissing people so that I can be surrounded by people who are going to support me in my effort to live the fullest expression of myself, to be who I was born to be. Again, I'm human, so I will have emotions. I will get upset. I will get angry, and I'm not going to judge myself behind that. That's part of the human experience. But what I am responsible for, I should say, is how I respond to those feelings, how I respond to those emotions. And in the moment when I'm angry, in the moment when I'm not feeling so forgiving, in that moment when I'm not feeling so loving, it is a critical factor. It's a critical component. It's a critical thing, right? To have people around me who are going to hold me up, who are going to turn that mirror around, who are going to make me remember. They're going to remind me of the promises that I made to myself. They're not going to co-sign off of my crazy. They're going to pull me back, redirect me, and remind me of my vision, and remind me of my purpose. Those are the kind of people who I have in my life today. Again, I fall off the wagon. We all do. We're human. The challenge is, do we surround ourselves with people who fall down with us, or encourage us to stay down there, or do we surround ourselves with people who are going to pull us up and hold us accountable? Rethink your ride or die philosophy. This goes back to what I'm always saying about watch your crew. Who is in your life? But for the presence of my friend Desmond in that particular moment, I was going to go off on this particular individual who betrayed my sister. A few weeks back, but for the presence of my friend Jay and my friend Sabrina, my new friend Sabrina, I would not have had an outlet in which to express my anger, and I would not have had those voices to come back to me, show me myself, remind me of myself, and process with me so that I could get back to that point of alignment. I could get back to that point of peace. I can get back to that point of equilibrium and handle my business in a way that is aligned with who it is that I say that I want to be. There are people who will feed off of your negativity. There are people whose egos enjoy seeing you go off, and sometimes they disguise themselves as your friends. Your responsibility is to open your eyes, look around, and rethink your ride or die. If you are in my life and you don't support my journey towards the highest expression of myself, guess what? Our roads will diverge. because I need people around me who are going to be holding me accountable. As you think about the goals that you're setting for yourself for this month, as you think about your goals that you're setting for yourself for the new year, it's really important that you surround yourself with people who are going to hold you accountable, who are not going to allow you to slip back into your old ways. They have to love you enough to tell you the truth. They have to have the courage enough to tell you when your slip is showing, if you get what I'm saying. Okay, so that's my message for you for this week and for every day going forward. Rethink your ride or die. When you've made a commitment that you want to come up higher, you want to get your finances in order, you want to start your business, you want to stop whatever that behavior is that you know is beneath you, whatever that behavior is that you know is not in alignment with the divine that is within you, if you know that those are things that you want to grow from, that you want to evolve out of, it's critical that you surround yourself with people who are going to hold you accountable. As Jay said, I don't need friends who ride or die. I need friends who will ride and rise. All right, so that's the message. Rethink it. Look at your friendships. Look at your relationships. All of them with fresh eyes. Look at your goals. Look at your purpose. Look at your vision. Make sure that you are surrounding yourself and associating yourself with people who will help push you towards your vision and not keep you stuck for their own entertainment or for their own purposes, okay? That's the message, that's it. If you're gonna come to New York, I can't wait to see you. I've got so much to share with you. If I'm gonna see you in Boston or DC, same for you. If I'm gonna miss you, if I'm not gonna see you on this tour, I will be back next week with some more information that I hope you will find helpful. And in the meantime, have a great week. Take care of yourself, take care of others, and have a good one.